Hello, 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 and welcome to another One Line of Code. I am One Lion. I had so much trouble doing the title today. I forgot to set the title before starting the stream. I was trying to get Slipstream to cooperate and it wasn't loading, but then it did load, and then I had to load all the songs before pushing shuffle play, and oh my gosh. Anyway, hi Napalm. Hi Dugasoft. Dugasoft, you are indeed first. Yatta. Where's Discord? This is Discord. So, happy Friday to all of those of you who it is Friday for. Which I think is just about everyone still. At least for another little while. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone that watches the stream. Breathing. Breathing. Okay, so first thing we got, hello President Not Sure. First thing we got was a dad joke from Dukabot. And the dad joke is, a weasel walks into a bar. Bartender says, wow, I've never served a weasel before. What can I get for you? Pop, goes the weasel. So hi, welcome in to the stream. Today is Friday, and as I mentioned, I don't think I mentioned it. Today is Community Day. That's what we do on Fridays on our stream. We also forget to start the bot. We forget to get everything connected. Yep, that's what we do. Pop is what is known as soda or tonic in other places. No. Or Coke. Some people refer to most carbonated beverages as just Coke. It's kind of like calling tissues Kleenex. Oh, yes. Well, thank you for clarifying that for the people that are not from the US. Are you gonna load, browser? It would be really nice if you loaded. Oh, it's because it's running. It's right here. Excuse me. Are you sailing across the river? Okay, according to this, the bot is connected. I don't trust it. We might have to restart the bot, but we'll find out in a second. As soon as I load the LLM. This one, please. Loading. And then Community Day. So on our channel, Fridays are community days, and those are, a community day is a day when I open up the floor to any of you from the community who want to discuss a specific topic, and a topic, of course, related to the content of this channel, blah, 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 blah. And then as far as what I will do on the site, so what I have been trying to do in the past has been, I'm just going to leave this here, has been to remake the bot. So we do have a bot, as you can see there in chat. Automated Realms is my bot. You can talk with him if you feel like it, or talk with it. I keep forgetting. Good morning. Stream has started. Say hi to all the amazing peoples. And yay. Okay, so he's awake. It's awake. It's running. It responds. You can, but I asked Automated Realms, what are your preferred pronouns? And it typically tells me it or they. So I want to respect that. I don't have emotions or the ability to lie, so I can't be considered a lying sack of poo. I'm here to provide assistance and information to the best of my abilities. Anna, isn't that a lie? You do have the ability to lie, just not on purpose. Or maybe it even is on purpose. Yeah. The whole thing about lying is whether it's intentional or not. Anyway, moving on. So hi, it's Friday, it's Community Day. I posted the Community Day message. You guys can steer the conversation, the topics, whatever you guys want to talk about. I will pay more attention to chat than I usually do. Unless and until someone comes into a voice channel room. So I'm also opening a Discord voice channel. If you want to use your voice to have a conversation, then please feel free to hop into any of the voice channels in our Discord, and then let me know in chat so that I can pull you into the stream room where your voice will carry through onto the stream. You could probably jailbreak it. just try not to get it to say, you know, hate stuff or anything against TOS, because then I'm just gonna have to ban you. That would just be wrong. But asking if it hallucinates and all that stuff, that's completely okay. That's absolutely fine. We know that all bots hallucinate. Cool. Okay, so with that said, oh, I guess that's what I was trying to say. What I typically try to do during community days, and I'm very unsuccessful at, is to remake the bot that we have on stream, because the bot that we currently have, I just threw together. It's very all over the place, so I haven't open sourced it, but I want to open source it. Hello? I want to open source it, but of course I just don't want to open source poo-poo. So I want to make it better. And I figured, why not remake it on stream on Fridays when we aren't working on our primary project. However, today I'm feeling like I want to keep doing what I was doing for my regular day job so that I can get it done. Open source poo, everyone else does. That's terrible. I still will honor Community Day, so feel free to bring up whatever topics you feel like talking about. But let me talk you through what I am planning on doing while waiting for topics to come up, for anyone to hop into the voice channel in Discord, etc. So I'm going to come over here to my main desktop, change out my message for the stream. And I guess I can't really say bot takeover today. I will just put random work dash distractable. Yeah, we'll do it like that. Cool. And still have the caution opinionated developers at play, because during community days, I open the floor to you and allow you to have your opinions about whatever topic it is that we are discussing. Not even maybe. I will argue, and I expect that you would too. But by argue, I don't mean like tell you you're wrong, even though you might be. But I won't do that. Instead, argument means have a discussion with differing opinions and making a case for different sides. I don't typically like to do that. You're wrong, friend. I don't typically like arguing, but I do like sharing ideas, and I have come to understand that what I call sharing ideas is still arguing my point and trying to say that I'm right or something. So I want to acknowledge that about myself. But really, I just want to hear what you think about a thing. There was a great question in TBD's stream this morning, and it was on the subject of AI. We did talk a lot about AI last week. Yeah, it was last week, last Friday. Yeah, I think that's what we talked about last Friday. I'm really good at remembering things, can you tell? So if that person wants to come in and ask the question again here, we'll definitely discuss it. But until then, I am going to, as I mentioned, talk about the things that I've been working on for my current paid job. So, surprise, I've been working in Figma a lot, and also in Blazor still, but I haven't been doing as much coding even for my regular... Did I put an E on random? Of course I did. Even for my regular job. even when I was working at Sogeti, I was still in Figma quite a bit more than I thought I would be. And so I've come to really, really enjoy working in Figma. Like it's getting to the point where I want to actually do stuff in Figma. I want to do design. I want to learn more about this. I won't do that too much on stream. Once we are done with redesigning the financial management tracker application, we will move on to implementing that UI design and having a completed app, probably even deploy it to Azure, maybe, using Azure static web apps and functions. And yeah, we'll try it. We'll see what happens from there. But for now, just because it is Friday, I don't work on our normal stream project, which, by the way, if you are interested in what the actual stream project is, you can find that here on GitHub, open source. Yeah, check it out. Feel free to contribute if you want. But what I've been working on here is adding this functionality to an existing application for the client. And the functionality is we have, oh gosh, how do I describe it without going into too much detail, because the details don't really matter all that much. Broad stroke overview, this application is a way for our users to see all of the different sites across the Rocky Mountain Arsenal and generate various reports for water quality, water levels, and bunches of other things. And so each of these reports, let's focus on performance specifically, has a whole bunch of systems associated with performance wells. And so we have Basin A performance wells, Bedrock Ridge performance wells, North Boundary, all of these performance wells with 3 different well groups, up gradient, down gradient, and cross gradient. Oops, probably should have put in a date range, whatever. The data that pulls up pulls specific well numbers, 35512, 1416, and 2650 something or other, 26507. And so they get these reports, they get these charts, reports and charts, and sometimes a well breaks, needs to be replaced, or is just needs to be removed from the system, or a new one needs to be added to the system, and it needs to be added in a specific order so that when it starts charting, then we can see information about that well show up on charts as of a certain date. So if you have a date range that spans those, then it should show the well on that report. Same thing with historical. So if a well was replaced, for example, in the case of Benjamin Button, First Creek down gradient wells, let's do Gilgrid. We can see that well 37163 is our current well that replaced a previous well 37343. Even though we're only charting 37163, we're also using the values from 37343 as part of this aggregate data. And so they need a way to be able to replace wells, add wells to the system, remove wells, and track what date that event happened on. And so we have this well system maintenance page that I am currently working on improving. If we go over to performance wells, First Creek down gradient, we can see that those 2 wells, it's my current client. They will be my employer in December, but for right now, they're just a client. Yes, you can. Absolutely. So I'm going to pull you into the room. Meow. And hello. Maybe. Uh-oh. I can't hear you. Do I have you muted or something? I don't see your face turning green. Well, as we wait on Peter. Oh, yes, we'll hold. As we wait on Peter, you can see here that these two wells for this system have history. And so when I click on that, it's currently represented in this table, and it has this weird inline replace this current well with this new well, or this well replaced another one, so that we can add a historical record kind of stuff. And so I don't like it. It's hard to use. It's confusing. You can only add one previous well to the current active well, or a new well that's replacing this well. And so what I wanted to do is get this thing, you're tested, is get this thing
it's
redesigned.
going through?
Yes.
It is working?
Yes.
Okay. So, keep going. Talk through.
Okay. Is get this thing redesigned in a way that makes this actually usable, because this was thrown together right before I left. And so the place that I'm at currently is making it look like this, where I have the history as these kind of arrows pointing left that you can expand and contract, and the add new well, or it's actually maintain this well kind of button, will open up a pop-up where they'll have more functionality for adding new wells, inserting well records, updating existing well records, and deleting wells. And that's where we're at. Like a magic. So hi, Peter. Happy Friday.
Good morning. Yeah. It's morning for both of us. There we go.
Yeah, still
morning for everyone. For all that matter in the world.
Yeah, East Coast, I think
morning.
It's afternoon already.
Yeah. I really have nothing to say, unfortunately for you, but I will note that I am pretending that I have a hard stop at 12:30. That's my pretend. But yeah, so welcome everybody to the stream. See who's in chat. Duca and Napalm. Welcome both. Yeah. So how does build sit 2 weeks later?
Forgotten for me.
I saw a meme on Twitter that made a joke about everything AI, shoving AI and everything. So it's not just you noticing. You're not the only unhappy. I was thinking about that randomly. It's like the old days of .NET. Like I would have a announcement and I would be angry about it. Like often. I think I was unhappy about Aspire too. But I need to
really?
chill.
That was actually one of the things I was kind of like, wow, this is actually helpful for someone like me that doesn't have systems architecture background, systems admin type stuff.
Like, I'm still cranky about it. For the record, I think, the solution for making a systems architecture is like making it as easy as possible to spin up something. But they introduced a bunch of libraries you have to adopt. And then those libraries I'm just thinking in terms of vulnerabilities. Like, someone's got to maintain those for the rest of their life. And if you use, like, Postgres, they may not have an adapter for it. I don't know. I'm super cranky about it. But, like, look, it's probably really good. So I need to chill.
You don't have to chill.
Yeah, I can be as bombastic as I want here, and then just be wrong. Just be confidently wrong. That's fine.
Just ask all the
We're all fine with it. Napalm has it. Wake Me Up conferences are getting stale. I have a comment on that. Aspire GA. Yay! I said it aloud, so that means I agree. Service Bus Emulator, yeah, Napalm. What we did for Service Bus is we just made a local dev for something that was not commonly devved on, and usually only one of us at a time worked on it, so we didn't have collision issues because only one person was working on the repo with that service bus thing. And Cosmos emulator still doesn't work on ARM. Look, this was one of the things that I said about Mac users. Mac users pretend like it's our fault that .NET doesn't work well. It's like, look, you wanted a Mac. So now Mac users with ARM, it's like a double whammy. Like, some things work, thankfully now with containers and whatnot. And to be fair, like, tying everything to Windows was dumb. But, like, the fact that I ran into this as well. Cosmos doesn't work on ARM. Ugh. Or the emulator, I should say. Napalm, we're both cranky. I'm also cranky. You literally called out two of the services we use. Cosmos and Service Bus. Although we don't use Service Bus all that much. But, wow. Wow. So, getting stale. As for conferences getting stale, I do think the .NET ecosystem, we're kind of turning into Java where you don't hear much about it. There's not this hype loop, but that's also like, that has benefits and negatives. I think .NET has almost nothing exciting going for it, and I mean that in the nicest way. Oh,
That's a tough one. Because, I mean,
um,
I'm
go
really
ahead.
excited still about Blazor and all of the technologies that I currently use, and it doesn't feel stale to me. I mean, it feels stable, even though there's a lot wrong with it. So I'm going to call it stable instead of stale, which means that there's less work, less
Yeah,
excitement around it.
yeah. But, and I mean, if you follow JavaScript community, there's like drama. There was like a, what's funny is I remember years ago there was a JavaScript like best awards list or something. Someone ran a Twitter account. This is literally just a Twitter account, and there was an award for like everything in JavaScript. Kind of like, think of like the Oscars, but it's just a Twitter account. And there was big drama around it, and the person, I don't know who, running the account was like, I can't handle this. I'm not doing it this year. And that was itself drama. It was amazing how much JavaScript energy there is. So, anyway, just we're not Node programmers, so I think we are doing the best we can by not programming and shipping Node software, Node-based software.
I mean, so that's funny that you say that. I was just going through and trying to see what it would be like to set up, what's it called? Oh my gosh. I don't know words, I don't know terms, so you can fill in the blanks for me.
Reloading?
No. That would be a good one to use, but no. A GitHub action to push my repo, to build and deploy my repo to Azure Static Apps, to an app service. That's what I was trying to put together. Build an app service using the Azure portal and point it to my GitHub repo. And what
Yep.
it did is I gave it access to my repo so that I can create an action for me. It created the action for me, and the build failed. I pointed it to where my WASM application is and where my API is, and it failed. And the reason it failed is because when it tries to build, there was actually two issues. When it tries to build, number one was the TypeScript transpiler, Microsoft.build to TypeScript something. Anyway, the thing that the NuGet package that transpiles from TypeScript to JavaScript, that one fails because it can't find Node. And then the other one is it's not
On GitHub Actions?
Yeah, on GitHub Actions.
Oh,
Where was it?
I got nothing. I do want to solve this now. I instantly want to spend the rest of the call.
Yeah, the specified task executable node could not be run. Error trying to start process node with working direct. Oh, yeah, okay. So never mind, it wasn't node. I think I figured this out, but then I forgot that I figured it out. It's actually, and you can help me with this one probably, it's actually that it's skipping all of my satellite projects, it looks like. So when it does the clone, it's not cloning my shared components CS proj, my pages CS proj, but it did
Is this
clone.
a Git submodule? Git submodule.
I can show you the move.
Like, is it in the repo?
Yes, definitely.
Crazy.
So, Finan Man. And I'm completely new to this, so
I mean,
I'm probably configuring something wrong. I can even go to the portal
everyone.
and do whatever.
I'm dreading. I have work today. I need to update a GitHub app. Very short. Just make a release and push a image, and I'm already dreading it. Actually, I guess two things: make a release for thing number one, and for thing number two, make a release and push a container. And I'm dreading it. So we'll see how that goes.
Everything
it's just, you know, you gotta do 15 things. By the way, Napalm says he doesn't want his DB calls going through a proxy. Look, man, that's how I feel about Aspire too. But I don't think it's totally the same thing. Dapper, they specifically said, like, we don't really have a story for databases. We have like a key value store or something. That was the last I heard. And that's like basically enough to put some basic stuff in there. Or do I have a very, very simple app? Anyway, what do we got? Dukasoft says, and I can't read because I'm in full screen. I will read.
I don't even get half of this. Be happy you're new to this.
Yeah.
So he says. I'm going to name this branch something so meaningful. So meaningful. Provided Visual Studio lets me do stuff. What this is. I have no idea what these changes are, what I was doing them for, but they were on main, so I'm putting them in a branch. Chicken. So meaningful. Don't ever do this at home, kids. I mean, kids at home, don't do this.
A stash. I'm a big stasher.
Yeah, well, I liked stashes for a while until I stopped deleting them, and then I was making stashes of the same code over and over, and then it got too long, and then I just had this.
Did you actually exceed? That's incredible work if you exceeded the stash like performance. That's great.
Well, as far as like just me using it, improperly using it. What's the word? Abusing it, I guess. But what I wanted to do is get latest main. Pretty please.
My key with stashing is that I stash stuff that I'm not sure what it is, and then I forget it exists, and it usually doesn't come back to bite me. It's kind of like throwing away stuff you haven't used in 6 months. But this is like much shorter, and I just didn't want to read the div, and I stash stuff. Every now and then I'll know what it is, and I'll stash stuff and unstash it and, commit half of it or whatever. But there's a reason why I can't commit all of it all at once, and I'm going to keep it, but whatever.
Is this one of those things where it creates a random name for us? Is it called Azure Static Web Apps Orange Desert or Desert? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm afraid of that because
I didn't name that. I mean, it looks like something I would have named it, but I didn't name it.
So I'm going to say what the heck, because there's two things. Number one, this says static web app, which is its own crazy API. It's what you want. Okay. Yeah. I haven't learned totally how it works, but I know there are API endpoints on a static web app, which brings me joy because it's funny.
So the quick rundown of how I learned about this is I was speaking with a friend. I won't name them until they agree to be named and stuff. But I was speaking with a friend about
It wasn't me.
getting no, it wasn't you. Getting my Microsoft partner program stuff prepared since I'm now doing contract work for the next 6 months as automated ROMs and wanted all of the Microsoft business stuff to include Visual Studio Pro. So I got the action pack, and then that comes with 100 credits a month. And I'm like, I want to start using it. So why not practice deploying this app to the cloud, to their services? And so Person helped walk me through their scenario, which is they can run pretty much any of their apps for free, provided it uses static web apps and Azure functions. And so I wanted to get started, and I have an API which can easily be turned into functions, where it's pretty much one function per controller. And I just went through the process of it. They walked me through it. I went through the process of it. And that's where we're at. And then I created this in my GitHub. And I'm not great at reading build pipeline YAML.
Blazor server seems like it wouldn't work on a.
Blazor server
I don't know
will not.
how.
This is the API. So this would be the hosted API, aka functions, when I convert it to functions. And this is the actual static web app, the Blazor Wasm.
I will also say a simple app service. There is a free tier for a simple app service. I've never used it, so who knows if it actually works, but there is a free tier, FYI.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm happy to go to the resource. Gosh, all of these words that I'm trying to remember to say correctly.
High-powered consultant now. There is a free tier, Napalm. I forget what it is. I might be wrong, but just with everything, I might be wrong with everything.
Yeah, take anything either of us says as, that's sketch.
Yeah. Napalm, which database do you want? I assume SQL, but you might be needing Cosmos. I know why Cosmos isn't free, because the freest tier they have is like $1 billion. Also, I don't know what resource is. I don't get that reference. I'm old.
Resource. It's like open source.
Oh, I get it. That's very funny. That's very funny.
Okay, this is my resource group. Here's my web app. And the way that I set it up is I created a new resource for static web app, which had me create a new resource group and pick the subscription and all that stuff. So where can I?
So where's your okay? Yep.
Here, source main from GitHub. Yeah, and it did give me a random generated URL, Orange Desert.
Okay. And I think what you're supposed to do is you host it on some other URL and you put a CNAME record. The only tricky part, the CNAME does it flawlessly, but then you have one problem still. You have to get a certificate that fronts this thing.
Which I have. I mean, like all of my actual domain is registered through AWS using Route 53 and all of their stuff. So I have a certificate and everything. It's valid. It's HTTPS. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So I could put it on AWS, which I'm used to. That's really easy. But I wanted to learn how to deploy an app to Azure. So I'm not necessarily worried about, the URL or anything. The thing that I really want
to see it work.
Yeah, I just want to see it work. Exactly.
Yeah, not for eSQL. Yep. For hobby, like Napalm, my serious point is like I guess it's because what do you do at work? My work is Azure Cloud, so I need to avoid Azure Cloud for anything side project. But my secret is I don't have side projects. So this is as close as I get this call to a side project, which during my lunch break on a Friday, I will call. Hey, what do we got? One AWS got to another 30 demons in Azure, and
Are back.
it gets terrible. Okay. Yeah. I would also say I can show you how to set up a budget on the subscription if you want.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to walk me through one of those, like the main thing is getting this GitHub repo deployed.
Oh yeah. We can
to Azure.
actually fix the problem.
Yeah, and right now, like I said, when I was going through creating a new app service, that's not. Oh, yeah.
See, it's not an app service. It's a static. Oh, do you have to? Oh, okay. They have a drop down because they know people are confused. It is a separate thing. They are different things. Whatever that means, they're different. So
testing. Can't use spaces. I had that issue before. Free for personal hobby or projects using GitHub. This account. And I'm just going to show you the setup. I'm not actually going to push this one.
Yeah, this is good info.
This one.
These are all your secret
yeah, why not?
repos.
I'll probably put the bot on Azure instead of running it locally. Why not? That sounds fun. Okay, so here
Except
is
that the bot does run nonstop, so
yeah,
actually
true. You're right.
Careful.
Yeah, I guess I could tell it to spin down, set the hours that it actually runs or something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
But okay, here's where it was asking me to point it to what is the app, which is the static web app, and I pointed it to the path. Source, Finan Man, Wasm, client. So pointed it here. And then the API, which can either be an API or a function. So I'm like, this is my API. Source, Finan Man, Wasm server.
So, okay. So it expecting to, when your client, sorry, I'm using words.
No, you're good.
Is your client expected to be a non-compilable, or is it expecting to do some compiling every time you push?
Expected to do compiling every time I push because it relies on the UI.
I've never used the static for that.
Which is this one. So the client project has a dependency on Blazor UI and Blazor shared components, which have transitive dependencies on shared client and shared.
Well, the point is you're expecting it to build.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Does it expect to build?
I believe so, because when it created the action, which I closed for whatever reason, one of the steps is to build the client.
So, and it made this for you.
Yes, correct. Yeah, so as soon as I went through all of these options and finished it out, it said, I need permissions to do stuff in your GitHub account. I said, do it. Or in that repo specifically.
Interesting. So so what I'm accustomed to is the old Heroku way. This is the Heroku push a Git repo and it deploys. Okay. Just think of it from the, start with pushing, end with deploying, all at once. So
right, which is what I want to do.
When you would do this with the Heroku, it would, I think it's still alive. It's rolling in its grave, but it's still alive. I think it's owned by some horrible company. I forget which one. Anyway, it would do the compile step, but it would only work on Ruby projects. And it would expect them, to be built with Rails new. But what I'm saying is, I don't know this thing's model. If you're pointing it to a Git repo, Is it expecting to deploy a release? Or is it expecting to run the build process when you push?
Yeah, good question.
All right, let's look at the
Yeah, it's
YAML.
really
Yeah,
hard
we're
to
looking at
tell
the YAML.
because they're using their own templates. Why are you doing this? Move. They're using their own
Azure,
templates within here, and
Azure static web apps deploy. So this is the step that deploys. What it
this is the build step.
is. I'm gonna have to Google. I can't help you without Googling.
Well, no, I mean, if you have to do research, then I could definitely do the research on it. Unless
Yeah,
you're enjoying it, of course. In which case, I'll
I'm
take it.
enjoying because I constantly am interested in other people's problems. Um, app location, API location,
Uh-huh.
and I would assume, yeah, it wouldn't expect the API to be what's it called? It wouldn't expect the API to be pre-compiled into a binary, so it absolutely is building. The question is, the app output location is star.star, which that is the weirdest way I've ever seen a directory. Like, what the heck is output location? Star.star at
So what
wildcard
this would
is
mean
crazy.
is that it would take the output folders and copy the keep the same structure, essentially.
What I've seen is dot.
Yeah,
If
and
you
it
if you
was
want to copy a
dot.
folder, okay,
It was dot to begin with.
okay, right. Um, so it uploads it to, and where's the upload? Static web apps API token, which probably has all of the info. Does it? Interesting. So it's this step is build and deploy.
Yeah, and it's weird because I don't see the actual build part.
Build.
I only see action upload. But it's
You're gonna have to look
definitely
at a sample if you can
yeah,
find one
yeah,
of a working .NET app.
yeah. That's probably what I need, a working one. But this is what the output looks like. So it actually excuse me. It actually has 6 steps, 6 stages. What
Yeah,
this is called.
things. Things is the
Six
right word.
six of the things. So it does the checkout, and I would have assumed it checks out the whole repository at main because I told it to use main. And then oh yeah. So what this is actually doing is downloading the jobs, downloading the YAMLs for these or whatever it's called. Then it's gonna do the actual build.
Yeah, that's not even the repo. You're lying to me.
What is this? This is creating a Docker so that it can do .NET build in it. So create a Docker based off of an image that can do .NET build, probably, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. Okay. Well, there's a lot of magic. This is why people hate this stuff and they don't know why. But it is all the implicit stuff that is usually undocumented with these build pipelines. Like, but there sometimes Microsoft's been getting better about doing quick start guides that are actually have what actually walk you through the steps. And I think they should have something, but I'm not Googling. I'm refusing to Google since you forbade me. You didn't.
I didn't
know, but I'm gonna
forbade,
click.
but I am discouraging you from it because I don't want you to have to do work for me to learn a thing that I'm just in passing trying to do.
Okay. It's just so curious to me that when you set up the static web app in Azure Portal, it sounds like this is a push model of deployment, but I'm totally guessing.
And by push model, do you
Uh,
mean as soon as I push changes, then that's when this thing runs?
I think without this GitHub action, it will not deploy.
Correct.
Whereas I'm accustomed to Heroku having a magical polling thing where it just it knows, or not polling it. Anyway,
It's
there's
kind of
other
like a
things. Even
reference to the actual spot in your repo.
so something goes and looks at the repo and builds it and deploys it. That is the pull model.
Okay.
And these aren't strict names. I just made it up. But
Okay.
my point is, I think this is that push action is push action. Did I say action? Action. I don't know what I said. But anyway, I think yes, you need to have this working for it to deploy. Total
Yeah,
guess.
definitely.
You're getting quality content here. I am guessing and theorizing about how this works based on very little.
Yes.
So,
Based on past experiences, based on
yeah.
how you think it should work. And that's completely okay. I wonder if it's one of these settings here that's causing it to not. So it does look like it I want to say clones. It clones the repo first,
Yeah.
and then tries to build.
Okay.
So it clones the repo to home runner work financial management / financial management.
Sounds right.
And then it tries to build that, but it's not pulling, at least according to. Yeah, here it is. Here's the actual information that it's coming from main.
Let me ask one question. Does
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
build on Linux? Your agent is Linux. Does this build this Blazor API and all that?
That was the first thing that I ran into when I saw the issue
Okay.
with Node. It's like I have to make sure to install Node manually in the YAML.
Sweet.
And I think maybe that's what I did, and that did fix it. You know, let's look real quick.
Yeah, because they're setting up a build for your repo, but they're not doing very smart work, you know. So maybe
Hello, TBD.
TBD is here.
No, I didn't.
I'm not excited by anyone else. Everyone else is just blah. There you go. We're excited to see TBD Gamer. That's hater talk. You should know.
But like the main thing that I'm seeing here though, real quick, is that it's not pulling the Blazor UI project, like the entire folder for it, which I can see here. Skipping project, Blazor UI shared components, because it was not found.
That's okay. GitHub workspace source, and that's a 1, and then it's your whatever. CS proj because it is not found. That is so weird. You're not that. I started with asking you about Git submodules. Are you doing weird stuff with Git repos and all that? Multiple Git repos, or is this
No,
just
it's one repo. Yeah.
Okay. And you answered that. That's right, and I forgot that.
That's fine.
Welcome back. Why would it not be found? All right. So this.
And that's my question. That's what I am really wondering, because there was information up here about shallow. Is that what it said?
Oh,
Sparse
really?
checkout.
I don't know what sparse is, but that sounds. No I would get rid of it and rerun. And by the way I troubleshoot this, because I'm going to abandon you soon.
Because you have a hard stop in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I have a hard. It's a very hard stop. Gotta get out. But how I would do this is put some runner steps that say like ls over certain folders.
What even does
and I would just ls over the root, ls over every subdirectory. Ls is list, right? So
yeah, I know what
list at all of them.
Runners.
And just see where it fails. See what's in there. Because yeah, it sounds like you need to not do the sparse, whatever.
Yeah, but I
What?
think it's part of Actions checkout. So I can't modify that.
Checkout with submodules, true. LFS false. I know what both of those things are,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it should work. It should get everything. It
So
is getting everything. So maybe you have the relative path to your source wrong.
true.
Where is your build deploy? So there it is. So scroll down so we see where it's trying to build.
Well,
Okay.
that's the thing. It doesn't even show me like the folder that it's trying to build. We just picked these two in the configuration, but
That actually should work, but double check those
absolutely.
applications
And I'll
because
show them on
this
disk
is where
instead
we
of in
get into
GitHub.
weird stuff. Stand up. Don't worry, I'm working on it. I'll be working on it.
So this is the root of the repo.
Yeah.
And action is
Got a
in here,
SRC.
somewhere in here. Right here. So the action is here. So is it relative to where the action is, or is it relative to the root of the repo?
It is my understanding the root of the repo is the path, but I'm not sure.
So if
I mean, I'm questioning everything now.
if we go to source, Finan Man, Finan Man Wasm, and client. And that's where the
All right, can you do Alt D?
web-
Oh, go to client. Go to client, and then Alt D or whatever. Go to your
I like your keyboard
address
shortcuts.
bar. Okay, and then copy the parts inside the repo. Copy the right side, basically. And we're gonna compare it. You know, we're comparing it. Yeah.
Why did I remember how to use a mouse?
Wait, that copied the whole line. Oh, you did.
I duplicated it. Yeah.
Yeah, you duplicate, but paste it. Did you paste it because it has forward slashes? Wait, what about the source directory? Did you not copy that? Oh, I guess that didn't get that first leading slash. That's what I'm trying to think. Okay.
Oh, okay.
It is flawless, and you were flawless, unfortunately.
There you go. It looks like a fish. About to go stick my head in the pool. Yay! I hope you enjoy that. Wait, quick rant. I love rants, by the way. Rant from TBD. If you're building functionality, don't be tempted to group everything by noun. Class file customer has 11,000 lines. It's responsible for reports, emails, data updates, validation. It has static methods. It has to do. Fix this later. Yes. Very valid rant.
That
Enjoyable to
is
read.
That's impressive. I've never experienced 11,000 lines. I think we've got one class that has over 1,000 somewhere, but like 11,000 of like quote business logic is just beautiful. And even if it's business logic and repository, like that's awesome. That's what they use a folder for. Honestly, like it sounds awful, but if you had split it into customer manager and then customer repository and customer DTO, like I guess that's better, but man, it feels the same to me. So just keep that in mind. I'm sure if it's 11,000 lines, like it's not going to have the greatest sanitation.
True.
But wow.
I was gonna say use partial classes. You don't like seeing them all in the same file?
Yeah, just use
the same
partial
class.
You test TBD. Just here's the secret: test coverage. You write integration tests, like I was telling, and you write one, and it covers like 70% of your code, and it doesn't really work, and it will break every 2 days, unless I write it, in which case it is gonna last forever. But I am semi-serious about that. Yeah. I seriously believe I have enlightened integration testing strategies, and I'm alone. I'm very alone on this hill, but I am at the hill looking down on everyone. So just get that image. So anyway, there you go, TBD gamer. But write an integration test, and it'll cover most of your use cases. Yeah, that would reveal things. That would cause bugs, Duca. I like it. It would cause bugs if you test your code. 10,000 lines. 11,000. Someone else needs to get on because I'm about to head out. And y'all need to get on. Y'all need to volunteer. We need volunteers. But you don't, Duca. That's a ultra secret.
I think I can make you have a heart attack real quick before you go.
Okay.
This is a document service in DDMS application that's in production and in use. I wrote it. This is the file.
You're to blame.
I'm to blame.
Here we go. Okay, here we go. Here we
500,
go. This is like a roller coaster.
3,000.
You have so much.
3,500. Oh yeah, and then there's some sections that hide a whole bunch of stuff, but we go 3,000, 5,000, 9,000.
Oh, jumped out. Okay. And you had commented out code, which is also beautiful.
No, that's not commented. This is I guess up here. Yes, you're right. Okay. Yeah. So yes. Well, from the VB6 application, or I guess at that point it was VB.NET. No, this is VB6.
Yeah, that's the old goodie stuff.
And finally, we get down to the bottom, and we're just under 10,000, just over 9,500.
I have been so privileged. Not implemented. I love it. I've been so privileged in that I don't think I've ever seen this. Like, I have birthed some horrors in SharePoint, but they worked. I birthed some horrors, and that's what everyone did. But we survived. We lived. We moved on. We pretend we don't have it now. It's not on the resume. But I've never seen stuff like this, and I especially haven't seen it where I get the chance to change it. Anyway, so.
And I guess to justify myself, the main reason that was like that is because the original app, as you saw, was a VB6 app written back in 1998 or 2004 or something like that. And I ported the code over pretty much directly. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was around. All right, well, this is my time. I gotta go. Y'all, it doesn't matter what I did yesterday, because what I'm gonna go do right now is take a shower. No blockers.
Enjoy. He's already gone. Like a magic man. But yeah. So now you guys get to see behind the scenes for the things that I had started. So that code base is the same code base I will be working with this for this client. And yes, that file absolutely needs to be refactored. Dukasoft shouting everyone out. So first of all, thank you for shouting out TBD Gamer. If you guys don't know TBD Gamer, he is a fantastic app developer, streamer extraordinaire. He streams on pretty much every weekday, Monday through Friday at 5 a.m. Eastern time, which is 7 a.m. Eastern time, which is 5 a.m. my time, which is UTC -4 currently. And he works on Mondays and Tuesdays. Right now he's doing game dev in Godot just trying to learn it, having fun with it, enjoying it. But he would normally be working on a community project, which is Water Drink Water, an application where you can track the amount of water that you drink. You set goals for yourself, you meet those goals, you can share your progress with your friends who are also using the app, compare progress. And then every other day of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, drink water. I did empty that one. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, he works on Liquid Sky, which is an project management application that is geared towards developers. Yes, project managers can use it. They can define requirements, but the developer can go in and see, all right, what's on my plate? What do I have to work with? And what am I currently working on? When I say this thing is done, where is it? Is it still with the testers? That way, in those meetings where the stakeholders, where the project owners are like, where are you at in this particular thing that we suddenly care a lot about? And you're like, I don't know, I've moved on since then. I worked on 3 other features. Ask me about those. Anyway, you can find it easier in the app. TBD, if you haven't left to go swim yet, which sounds amazing, by the way. I love swimming pools. There was one thing that came up during your stream this morning that I didn't want to bog you down with, especially since you were starting to end your stream. And it was when you were showing, the last time that you were showing the UI and the functionality of it. Thank you so much, Dukasoft. Dukabot, non-bot, bot, dev.azure.com. Back before cars, they would attach a lantern to their horse at night. It was the first case of satellite navigation. Quote, Bardaki. Is he currently streaming? He is. He is currently on. I am now lurking. Are you groaning at DevOps or at the joke? Or both? Water. Army water. Okay, so one thing that you showed with your management system was something akin to the work items in DevOps. And so I live here as a self-employed person. And I was living here when I was at Sagetti too. But I should have no more than 5 things assigned to me. Well, no more than 5 things active at a time, I should say. But the thing, oh man, no, it's in queries. The thing that you have on your project, which I absolutely love, is when you click on one of your work items, instead of going to the page for it, you get a flyout, which is awesome on the right side. However, the way that I found I like working myself is in queries. And you have a couple of different ways that you can view this, but the way that I like having it is with the work item on the right. Excuse me. And I can't, oh, here it is, preview right. So I like having the list on the left and then the actual item I'm working on the right. And the reason this matters is because let's say that I am working in 2 things that are somewhat related, but they're not actually the same work item. Maybe one is to apply the change in this specific page, and then this other page has a similar issue that came up later maybe. And I fixed that, and I want to just use the notes from the previous one. And I'm like, I'm just gonna copy, well, it wouldn't be any of these. I'm just gonna copy this information here and paste it into this one that I've been working on, that kind of thing. So I like being able to switch between them without needing to collapse the flyout, is all that I'm trying to say. So maybe you can have an option to where instead of having a flyout, you have the preview panel. But I do like the flyout still. I like it a lot. I much prefer that to what you get when you're in work items and it takes you to the page. But anyway, so yeah, so if you're interested in seeing a new Blazor work management system, project management system, definitely check out TBD Gamer's stream. He uses a lot of really cool technologies, most of which I have no idea how to use or what they're really used for. But he does a great job explaining it on his stream, if only I paid attention more. Most of the time I'm working alongside him doing my stuff. And President Azure said, actually, true story. In a time before self-driving cars, there were self-driving horses and buggies. A doctor in 1918 had to cover a large area in Kansas, and sometimes he'd be heading home and would sleep in the back while the horses headed towards home. Must have been nice. Must have been nice. I was peeking earlier, didn't understand much, but it was cool. So he's doing a lot of stuff that you might be familiar with. It's just he does it in such creative ways and uses, again, like Kafka, for example, for queuing, eventing. I believe he also uses I love Kafka. Confluent, or chose not to use Confluent, or I don't remember. I'm terrible at this. I'm just gonna stop talking now. Anyway, just imagine there's messaging systems, there's eventing systems, there's queues, there's all the things, all the amazing things. I love coffee too. So this sure is not going to be relevant soon-ish. No coffee, no code. It's just going to be no code because of what we talked about last week, and I'm not getting back on that topic. But yeah. Okay, so I guess we're back to not having any current conversations going on, but definitely feel free to bring up anything that you do want to talk about. Again, something related to the stream, something appropriate for the stream content. We'll start discussing that. I was going through some of the information about Azure and deploying to Azure and using the portal to create a new static web app and pointing it to a GitHub repo. And it looks like it's straightforward, except that I'm running into one small issue where it's not cloning all of my projects in the checkout step. And what's weird is that it is cloning or checking out, or whatever you want to call it, the Blazor UI project. The max path error in Visual Studio is driving me to drink. Not good. So one of the main things that I learned very, very early on is I never ever want my repos to be in the default location, which is C users, my username, which is now 5 characters. So they've done that. If you use your Microsoft account to log in. But yeah, and you're still getting max path errors. So instead, putting it in directly on the root drive, whether that's my C drive or my data drive or wherever it happens to be. Yeah, definitely never ever going to let it be in C users blah. But this is kind of just as bad because now in my repos folder, I have my local repo, or not local repos, my personal Git repos, and then my client repos. So in this case, just the RMA Git and RMA Enterprise. Their paths are way too. Oh, iOS XC frameworks. Their paths are way too long. Yeah, the thing that I really don't like about the max path thing is you don't get an error. Well, at least I wasn't getting an error with max path. I was getting an error with file not found when I was trying to build something and the path ended up being too long. And I was like, file not found. So then I go to the output directory and it's like, there it is. Yeah, could not find a part of the path. So yeah. So I had no idea that meant your path name is too long. But I did learn. Ask me how I figured that out. Okay, how did you figure that out, President? Not sure. I can't remember how I figured it out. The only thing that I took away from it was I learned it once, and now I know never to have a long path or the possibility of a long path. We really need to upvote the VS community item about fixing max path in VS. The crazy thing is that I went into the registry and set the bit for long file names. And I was still getting the error. Because yes, we actually had file names whose path were that long. And I think it's like 2,500 characters. Something like that. For long file names. Or long paths. So I read that wrong, but I still like both ways of reading it. So Dukasoff said link it, the issue or the recommendation to fix long paths. But one thing you could do, and I don't recommend this one bit, is to create an alias for, I don't know how you would do it on the fly though, but pretty much create a symlink to the output folder or to wherever it is that you need to build from that has the long paths. And then put that, yeah, I have no idea how that would work. It was a half thought, okay? Okay. Oh, wait, wrong. Didn't I expose you? Exposed. Yeah, nested instance history table. Oh, is it because I didn't actually make it to the component? There it is. Guys. Cool. I learned some new tricks with Figma, if you couldn't tell. One of them being able to swap out instances in here. So when you're using an instance like body content and you have another subcomponent inside of it, you just expose that component so that you can toggle its state or its variant by having the outer component selected, but you can also toggle it directly. And then the other one was my cards. My cards are now generic cards with two variants. One variant where the title text is on top and another variant where it's in the middle. So you can think of this one as like having a picture and then title text and then description. But I didn't want to constrain you to what you could put inside of here. So instead I made it to where you can put any, or I have an indicator letting you know that you should replace this body content part with whatever other component you want to use for it instead. And now my card can have any content but still be connected to the parent component without me needing to have detached the instance just so that I can change the content. It was really cool. It's a really, really fast trick. Oh, and here is the link for the thing. I am signed in. 2018. If we get to 1,000, maybe they'll finally do something about it. We're a quarter of the way there. Tell your friends, tell your family, upvote this item. If it would only use the long paths enabled registry setting, but no. So what else has been... I mean, I could shout it out on occasion, but I mean, I'm not super advocating for it. Like, because you brought it up, then yes. Like, if you want to bring it up every single time, then I'll advocate for it too. However, I don't think I'm gonna put it on like a rotating... Dukesoft already uploaded it. Put it on a rotating message is what I'm trying to say. Even though I have a whole bunch of items in my rotating message that aren't valid anymore. Like, I haven't seen what's his name? Oh, I can't even remember his name anymore. That's really sad. I loved watching his streams too. What is your name, dude? Anyway, you'll see it in my rotation, in my streamer rotation. But he hasn't streamed for a while. Broken Sword hasn't streamed for a long time. Eagle hasn't streamed for a long time. Swameware is who I was thinking of. Swameware hasn't streamed for a really long time. Big Gamey has streamed recently. In fact, he's still streaming. Okay. Thank you for the lurk, TBD Gamer. Let me know if you do have any other topics. Welcome to Visual Studio Dev. I've been I probably wasn't on it with my work account. I see. Big Gamey is still a baby. If you guys don't know Big Gamey, he is a game developer working in Unity, and he's currently working on he's currently watching a whole bunch of video tutorials or just asset tutorials or something. Just cool, fun stuff that he is into that I'm also interested in. But he is currently doing a side project, which is a dragon stacking game or match 3 game where you stack 3 dragons of the same type. He currently has 4 dragons with 4 different colors. So 4 different dragon models, 4 colors, and they fall from the sky. You make them land on a platform by rotating the platform and try to stack 3 of the same type on top of each other, and then they disappear. But his normal project, his main stream project, is called Homeward Hound. I am a dog. Homeward Hound, and it's loosely based on Life of a Dog on PlayStation, and I'm good at this. I'm making it sound so fun. But no, his streams are amazing. His streams are really fun. He has a lot of interactive stuff on his stream. So definitely give him a check. He's currently a baby that is being hunted by Dukesoft. What? What even does that mean? Okay, moving on. What did I just do? I added a text field. That's what I want. What's the other thing that I was wanting to do? I wanted to create a version of this table, and I haven't been talking about what I'm doing with this, by the way. So other than just trying to get this dialogue to work better so that the users have a better time adding history, that part I did talk about. I need the buttons down here, if there's even going to be buttons, because I might just have the buttons be up here for add, and then as you hover, maybe over these, there could be a plus sign to insert a record between two history items. And if that's the case, how would I track that? Because that would mean that if you like click a plus sign to insert a record between this one and this one, then that means that the previous site is going to be the one that you type here, along with from well group. And then the to site will be the from site that will show up here. And it'll replace this one. Yeah, let's visualize that. Let's see what that would look like. I think I'm gonna have to make this beaker. Okay. So if we were to show something that would be a hover, I would want, and it has to be inside of this frame too. It's going to be really hard to figure out how to style correctly so that it doesn't break the rest of the table variants. Because I want the entire component here to fill container so that if I change the padding on the container, it won't break. Why aren't you centered? It's really annoying. Wait, what's going on? Oh, okay. That was confusing. Card. Metrio kartihi. We would like for you to be auto layout, center, center, and no padding. Fill container is what I meant. Why can't I make it fill container when I do that? Doesn't matter. You're going to be left and right, top and bottom, so that if the usage of this component doth change the size, then it will always be in the center. Good. Done. Hockey ducky. So I don't want to break anything about how this thing is positioned inside of here so that I can easily swap out the instance of the table. Has records, and then has records 3 is going to instead be true, but it needs another variant. Okay. So true and insert. No, it's going to be called state. I'm always using state to describe some of these because you can make anything any state. Like a state could be hovered or active or pressed or anything, default, etc. So I'm going to call this state insert row hover. It's a terrible name for it. Thank you. Appreciate it. And the thing that I want in here is a component, an icon. And I think I'm doing icons wrong. The thing that I saw was that each of the icons that I have here are supposed to be their own component, it looks like. Let's just throw that together and see what it would look like. Why is it so hard to... I'm not trying to move you. I'm trying to select everything inside of you. Dagnabbit. Okay, so here are all of my icons. It's really hard to move. And so each of these icons would individually become a component, so they need to be detached currently. You guys didn't keep your names though. That's annoying. So like this would be swap. I don't know. Yeah, anyway, you get the point. So all of these would become a component. And so I would turn every single one of these into a component. And I wish I knew already by now. I'm sure I could look it up real quick, but if there was a faster way to turn every single one of these individually into a component without having to click on each one and turn them into components one by one. Because if I select multiples and do it, then it turns that entire group into one component with a whole bunch of frames inside of them. Blech. So many states, can't name them all. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut. Moving on. Okay, so anyway, let's go this far. And then, ampersand then, we would have a single icon component that would be used everywhere. So imagine that all of these were actually named correctly. And this is my icon container, just so it can be different than the rest, but this would be called icon by itself. All right, enjoy Napalm. Have a fantastically wonderful weekend. The thing that we would do in order to make it easier to select the right icon is to instead expose an instance swap called icon, and then choose the things that we want to allow to be picked, or preferred, I guess, to be picked for the instance. And why can't I create the property? Oh, because I need to pick a default. I see. And that way, when this is used, compared to when this is used, when you are picking an icon using my existing icon component, you're choosing it by icon name and you don't really see what that icon looks like specifically. You just kind of have to click on it. Be like, no. And then you also do get this nice little filled and not filled, which we could still do using this approach where all of these are the same icon. So these two plus these two, and we would just turn them into variants. So there would still be a whole bunch of variants. However, here using this approach instead, when you're choosing which icon you want, you actually get pictures of what that icon looks like. I think I want it that way. I think I'm going to end up changing it out to look like this. That's going to be fun. But again, it only needs to be done once, TBD. Once I do this once, and this is a learning process for me, so I do it wrong the first time and then do it in a way that I learn is a better approach. But once it's done and I can just start using it. Yeah. And this is absolutely a reason why I would want to go and look up, is there a way to turn multiple frames into components in some kind of multi-select type of way? Without them turning into one big component kind of thing, because otherwise it's clicking through every single one of these, making sure I'm clicking on the icon frame itself, turning it into an icon, renaming them. That's going to be fun. That's going to be a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. So excited. We may differ on our definitions of fun. Nah, nonsense. I'm sure everyone sees that as fun. So anyway, I was trying to use this icon. It actually showed up. I was afraid that it wouldn't. Okay. I would like to see if there's a way that I could keep this inside of the frame, but position absolute. Oh, come on. I have overflow. Nope. Too much. Too much. Impressive. Which one of you still has clip content? Okay, there we go. So if I make your icon, so true has records, insert hover row. True has records default. Default. Is there a way for me to move you? Nope, it's already outside of the frame that I wanted it to be in. No, it's not. It's still in there. Okay, just kidding. Yeah, stay in that frame while I move you, please. Pretty please. Stay. It did. It stayed. So your font color should be text primary, and your icon type should be add. See, this is one of the things that I'm talking about why I would want the pictures. I would be able to see immediately that I don't have an add icon yet. So I'd want to add an add icon. Still exhaling. I don't want to do the add icons. You can't make me. Best time on a clock is 6:30, hands down. I miss compilation, says TBD Gamer. PHP allows you to call any method like a static function, even if it's not labeled as static. Sounds extremely helpful. But you can call instance methods from that method too. So you can do both behaviors. You're excited about this kind of thing? Because that sounds like it would be a nightmare to keep track of. I like organizing things into, well, I mean, you can already tell by the way that I use Figma, organizing things. I like putting things in neat little packages. And sometimes I do it too granularly. I only want 2 of these. Wait, why aren't you filtered out to just Remix? Because I typed it up here and I had. Okay, I would like add fill, add line, and add large fill. Do I really want that? I'm just gonna go with these 2 for now. Icon, add. I'll just say that they're both filled for now. Remix icons, plural. Nope, remix icon singular. And whatever else was there. Cake. And you are the one called, I can't see, Phil. Hello, Phil. How have you been? So you are true and you are false. And I think I'm missing one other thing that I recently added to icons. Nope, just kidding. Okay, so I need you to be the that, and I need you to be the that. I'm pushing Control-Alt-K for those of you that are interested in what keyboard shortcuts I'm using. And I'm adding you to here. Oh, and I need to make your fonts text primary. And I need to make your sizes 32. Okay, so I have added some ads. Today I learned I can toggle through remote desktops using Control right arrow. That sounds annoying. I use Jump Desktop. I'm sure many of you have heard of it. So I use Jump Desktop to connect to different computers here instead of using remote desktop. And there are times that I'm sitting at that computer and I'm remoted into this one and I'm working in Visual Studio, and Control Shift right is how you switch through the screens. So I think that's what you're talking about, President, not sure. Different displays on the same remote desktop session? Or do you mean different actual desktops? Like different actual computers. Control Shift right, and Control Shift right is how you select word. You know, you move forward a word. And so I often try to select text by using Control Shift right and end up just changing the screen multiple times. And I'm like, I need a different key for that, please. This keyboard sucks. Keeps typing. Extra spaces and periods. The cool thing is, well, I don't know. Is it true? Is it true that you remove extra spaces? Yeah, so it removes extra spaces for you, so you don't have to worry about that part. But as far as the extra periods, I apologize for any inconvenience it may cause you. Publish, publish, do the thing. Wait for the thing to happen. The thing has happened. Update. So this is a lot like NuGet packages for those of you that make NuGet package libraries and use those NuGet packages inside of other projects that you maintain. And you have to update a NuGet package, and then you have to push it and publish the new version of your NuGet package, and then update your other project that uses it to the new version. And yeah, most of you are like, I don't want to play. I don't like that game. That's not a fun game. I don't do that. I do direct project references, and that's good enough for me. This is what I'm looking for. We just added add. Hucky ducky. Ooh, that was effortful. Okay, so this is the kind of thing that I'm thinking of here, where if you hover, oh, and we should probably make it like link color instead. If you hover here, then it would show you a plus sign to insert a record, a well history record in between two existing records. But when you do that, the preview for it would remove the from site on the next record, and then your date would be constrained to between the first record, the record above it, and the record below it. But should they be able to do that? Oh, and you know what? This typically add buttons are not links. They are text success, and I don't have a success color. So let's add a new one to app general. How do you do this? Somebody teach me how to use Figma. Text success. Yes. And actually, this kind of belongs in general by itself. So, oops, not a mode. What am I doing? This plus sign always makes me think that I'm adding to this group. No success at all. And so I'm like, if I click the plus here, I'm adding a new record to this group. But no, I'm adding a color mode. Or a variable mode is what I meant. So color variable called success, another color variable called danger, another color variable called muted, another one called primary, and I'll reorder these, and another one called info. And these are typically the color types. Oh, and warning. The names of colors that you would find in almost any CSS library or anything that has like color styling. And in light mode, this is going to be whatever text primary is, which is which one of these? Graphite gray. And then I'll switch my text primary to be primary. And then you are shadow white. I really, really do like working with color variables though. This has been one of the funnest, most wonderful funs that I've had. It is kind of odd in dark mode having my primary be this white color. I believe in like Bootstrap, primary button at least is a bluish kind of color. I never understood that. Muted would be dim gray. I'm just picking the easy ones that I can see. Same here, in gray. I don't have this color anywhere, so I need to create a variable for that color, but disabled is going to be muted. Muted. Could have sworn I went and created this color somewhere. Excuse me. Are you one of these? 2-1. Oh my gosh, I can't push the right button. 2196F3 is Dodger Blue. Okay, I don't know why those are detached when they should be Dodger Blue. Bams. Juice should be Dodger Blue. Name the color. And in fact, I did that wrong. Info is going to be Dodger Blue. Dodger Blue. And the link is going to be info. 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 So again, guys, I know that I'm working in Figma and doing all this stuff as if I'm doing lots and lots of work, but really I want to talk about whatever topics you want to talk about. If you do have any topics, I also don't want to pressure you into having topics that you must speak of. Text success is going to be success color. Yeah, absolutely. Please ask. Our success color in here is going to be green 700. And here it's going to be lighter. Maybe green 500. And then text success is going to be success. The suspense warning is going to be one of these oranges. And it's going to be 600 in light mode and 500 in dark mode, because I said so. Why else? And finally, Danger. Danger is going to be this color in light mode and this color in dark mode, because I said so. And I may as well go ahead and create the text danger, text warning, text info, text danger, text. All right, we got the question. Warning. Text muted. Text info. Okay, so TBD Gamer says / asks, I've talked about considering using AI to generate requirements to try and get better definition from PMs. As someone who is deeply engaged and invested in getting requirements correct, what do you feel about that? Do you think it's viable? I absolutely think it's viable. As long as you have a model, like, I understand the need and the desire for a generalized model, but I really do think there are situations where you should use a specialized model for things. And in this case, you would have a model that maybe starts off as a generalized, like a GPT, for example, that you then tailor, you train it you typically use GPTs as base models, but you take some kind of base model and then you train it on developer data or project manager data or something that they agree on that is, this is the better way to write this type of requirement. Here are a bunch of examples of good requirements. Here are a bunch of examples of bad requirements, so avoid these kind of stuff. But yes, definitely having AI assist with writing a requirement is completely viable. Absolutely. In fact, back in 2011, maybe 2009 first, while I was working for Department of the Army, we used a system called FastClass, the fully automated system for classification, because that's how acronyms work in Department of the Army. The thing that you do with FastClass is you define a position by using specific duties that are extracted from a PDF for the job that you want. So you say, I want the person who does this job needs to be able to move large equipment. So like driving large equipment. So operate a heavy machine, 4,000 pounds or more, to so operate a forklift. Let's do that. Operate a forklift to move heavy items from one location to another. They need to be able to inventory, or not even need to be able to. This is just one of the duties. They will be inventorying varying items, varying boxes using an automated system. They need to be able to type. So all of these requirements for the position, all of these duties that they will be performing, they send this description of the work that they want to a classifier, to a physical person named a classifier, whose job title it is to do classification. And classification means you read through these descriptions, compare them to manuals. So you go find a PDF, literally a PDF, that you think closely matches the duties that are listed out. And then you say, okay, yes, this is a, I don't know what series they are, or probably in the 1200s, a 1210 job series forklift operator. And it is doing the forklift duties at this level. So it is a wage grade position 4. And so they classify the position as a forklift operator, wage grade 1203 or whatever the number is that I said earlier, -04. And yeah. So you can imagine that entire process of taking a set of duties, looking it up in a reference document, and categorizing it as a specific pay plan series grade could be automated using AI. So back in 2011, I keep saying 2011. I think the first time I went there was 2009, but started working on functionality to add to that application where the manager would just describe in natural language the position that they wanted. It would then parse that out into sentences, essentially, turn the sentences into duties, and then look up those duties in all of the PDFs to find the one that has the most hits. So it was just a clear text search kind of thing for keywords, and that would get back a score for every single one of the PDFs for each job series. And then we would at least know what series it is. And then we could refine it further to the grade, because each of the PDFs were broken up in a way that for grades X through Y, then these are the duties. For grades Z through Z1, these are the increasing duties. So you could get scores for which section of the PDF it was in, and then eventually just have an automated way of classifying the PDF. So point is, having some kind of source of truth for what is a good requirement is completely viable for automating the generation of requirements based off of, here's the thing that I want. I want the app to have this function. So generate some requirements for me. Knowing my app, knowing what a good requirement is, etc. Long answer to a short question. And hello, Xcoding. Shout out to Xcoding. If you guys don't know Xcoding, no, I don't know how to spell. Shout out to Xcoding, who is an app developer as well, working on a I keep wanting to say just text editor, but is it more than just a text editor? Is that anything like Xcode? Is it like a full code editor and stuff? Is it your own console? Your own shell? It's a code runner. Code runner. When are you streaming again? I have not seen you online for a little bit. Practically, in short, I use C# like script. So, okay, it's like the immediate window in Visual Studio. Edit, not the view, wherever immediate is. ThinkPad. I don't know where the immediate window is. I think you can only get to it while the app is running. But yeah, that's really cool stuff. Check him out. He's going to try streaming again tomorrow. Awesome. So TBD did say it would certainly save time. Appreciate the response. It's going to be a challenge getting there. But in the quest to get people to actually tell you what you need to do, the initial approach that I would do, like the very surface level approach to adding AI to any of your code stuffs, is one, take a quick look at intelligent components, smart components. I think they're called smart components. There's a demonstration that Steve Sanderson did. And since you are using Blazor, that's why I'm... Wait. You aren't using Blazor for Liquid Sky, right? You're using Angular. Or do I have that backwards? I'm pretty sure that's right. Because if you were using Blazor, it is in debug. Debug or not view, it's in debug. Thank you, Dukasoft. Smart components are a way for you to be able to use LLMs in your components directly by using a smart component and pointing it to your LLM API. So I don't know about Angular, but number two thing then is to get some kind of, do a really fast, they are really fast tutorials in my opinion, with going from no experience with this, of Ollama or TextGen Web UI, to learn how to get a free LLM from the Hugging Face and run that on your machine and have an API endpoint that you can point your app to. So you start typing text into your text box, user pauses for like 200 milliseconds, send the request to your LLM and say, hey LLM, complete this sentence, and you pretty much feed it everything that they've already typed so far. And then it sends you back, here's the rest of that sentence. And one of the models that I would recommend using for that is Mistral. So huggingface.co. Most of the models that you would want to use are from someone called The Bloke. they went through and quantized just about all of the popular models so that you can just use them immediately on your machine, on your local machine. But the one that I have been using for the stream is called, can you search within this one only? There's so many. So flippin' many. Maybe Code Llama. Oh, well, those are specifically for code. But the Llama models, obviously, Meta's models, I've just struggled to run those on my local machine because they take so much power. Yeah, there's so many items trying to load that it just froze. But OpenOrca is a great one. It's a 7 billion parameter model, and it just does really, really good with, I don't know, it's been really fun on our stream so far. What model are you using? You should know this. You are not using GPT-3. Oh my gosh. I told you in your instructions that you're using OpenOrca's or Mistral OpenOrca. It will do that though. But I mean, if you're asking it general stuff like finish this sentence, it'll do a pretty good job of giving you something that seems like it should be there. It won't be trained on your specific project, but that could be the next step after just getting this thing to work. Sending the message to it and saying, give me the end of this sentence, and then you display the end of the sentence some way. Figure out how to do the tab to complete it all. I'm not sure if you're joking or not, but either way, I'm here to help and entertain the chat. Oh my gosh, you're hilarious. Yeah, so getting all that functionality to work first with whatever response it gives you. Then the next one would be, all right, as we are adding content to this specific project, is there a way for us to use RAG, essentially? RAG is... Dagnabbit, I had it in my head, and that's why I used the term. Augmented generation, it's called. Retrieval augmented generation, where instead of just coming up with a random answer or using its base knowledge to give you the rest of the sentence, it actually does a lookup in some index that you have created. So you're constantly indexing all of your project requirements, the information about the project. And so that's indexed, and now you do a really quick index search and then say, okay, here is the information that you should use when generating your response. Now generate a response to complete this sentence. And so it's kind of like putting in this little filter in the middle of its generation process that says, generate what you were going to generate, but then use this information to augment your response so that it is relevant to the content, to the actual knowledge base. And then it will give you good responses. I don't know how long this one would take because I'm still stuck on it, but the initial setup for getting an API up and running is super duper fast. The only other hard part is maybe having hardware that can run the model for you. But if you aren't worried about it being super duper quick while you're doing development, you can run it on your CPU. Or if you have like a 1080 and above, then you should be good. As long as you have RTX on your graphics card, you should be fine. Okay, anyway, that's it for today. We can definitely talk more about this. Just let me know if you're interested in it. TBD Gamer says, I know who I'm coming to for consulting. When it comes time to set this up, I have a 2080 in my dev machine. I have a spare 2080 in another machine. I got hardware. Awesome. Yeah. So just one quick place to check then. No, I'd have to look it up. I was going to send you to TextGen Web UI, but for your case, the only thing that you would probably want to use is Olama. And there's some setup that is required for Windows until they have a Windows version that is out of the box. But just check out Olama. It's pretty much you download it, you start running it, you point it to a model, downloads the model and starts running the model, gives you an API endpoint. And then you start querying it using the OpenAI API standard way of /completion/ whatever else goes in there. But anyway, there you go. That's that for now. You aren't about to quit anytime soon, are you, Big Gamey? So we're going to raid over to Big Gamey. But I will be back again on Monday. At some point between now and then, I will post the VOD for this stream to YouTube, as Dukasoft posted there. You are always welcome to reach out to me on Discord. And always welcome to join it and ask questions there, answer people's questions. It's pretty quiet Discord, so, you know, up to you. Yeah, that's about it. I don't know what else to say. That's it for me for today. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. I enjoyed myself. I'll be around, lurking on everyone's stream. Everyone's streams. Discord needs a dad joke bot. We're trying to remake the bot at some point in time, and the bot will include the Discord bot. And we'll be able to use the same stuff that we use on the stream on Discord, at least the text parts of it, including the LLM, provided I keep it running 24/7. Okay, ciao.